The United States has begun its invasion of Venezuela. 1 hour ago at 2:30 a.m., American missiles...
It is January 3rd and it's 2 in the morning. I'm in Florida right now, and I got a call from a bunch of family members in Caracas, Venezuela. It looks like the United States already started to attack Venezuela.
Unclear. Special forces allegedly were going in the capital to take the president of Venezuela, who has escaped and is confirmed to be alive and safe. At least 15...
No new wars, huh? I seem to remember MAGA being like, no new wars. Well, you just started a war and kidnapped the leader of a country. And yet, the MAGA people will keep eating this up and be like, yay, now we're going to get their oil.
He did not have authorization from Congress to start
Air Force Base. Venezuela has deployed multiple armored fighting vehicles around the presidential palace. And right here we see a U.S. military helicopter firing a missile at a ground target, which is verifying a resistance. Fox News...
So-called president of peace, Mr. Donald Trump, just attacked a sovereign nation.
Hello world. So while you all slept, there was a breaking news item coming from social media and news outlets. So I'll be playing a couple of clips, but before you watch them, you need to understand one thing. What's happening in Venezuela is by design. It's not any accident, it's a pattern. Donald Trump has more often called himself the president of peace. But would you wonder whether peace has ever required bombs, it has ever required sanctions, or interest in other people's oil deposits? We've seen this before, a different country, different excuse, but the result has always been the same. So I implore you to watch carefully, because whatever you're going to see isn't about democracy or drugs. It's about power, hypocrisy, and who gets to break international laws without any consequences. So watch to the very end, and I'll be back with my commentaries with regard to this.
The United States has begun its invasion of Venezuela. 1 hour ago at 2:30 a.m., American missiles and American fighter jets struck the capital, Caracas. Strikes have been confirmed on civilian and military infrastructure. In this video here, you can see American transport helicopters taking troops into the capital, where multiple gunfights have broken out between special forces and the Venezuelan army. American helicopters have destroyed air bases in northern Venezuela, as well as taking out the house of the defense minister. As of now, the status on the defense minister of the country is unclear. Special forces allegedly were going in the capital to take the president of Venezuela, who has escaped and is confirmed to be alive and safe. At least 15 explosions were heard in the capital, targeting oil refineries, Air Force bases, military and civilian targets. The Venezuelans have ordered a full mobilization of upwards of 15 million people. U.S. helicopters are engaging Venezuelan ground troops, and Venezuelan tanks are seen in the capital currently.
Well, I woke up to the news that we've been bombing Venezuela, and apparently Trump says that we captured Maduro and his wife and took them out of the country. So we just invaded a country, kidnapped their leader, and flew them out of their country. And now we left Venezuela with no president and a bunch of damage to a bunch of their military sites and stuff like this. No new wars, huh? I seem to remember MAGA being like, no new wars. Well, you just started a war and kidnapped the leader of a country. So it's another regime change war. How many regime change wars do we have to do in this country before American people realize we're the bad guys? Like, the country that bombs another country unprovoked and then flies in and kidnaps the leader of that country and his wife is not the good guys. And yet, the MAGA people will keep eating this up and be like, yay, now we're going to get their oil. Yeah, we shouldn't be just going into countries and stealing their resources. We're the bad guys.
One thing is clear, Trump's days are numbered, as it is looking more apparent that the U.S. has launched strikes on Venezuela, on its capital city of Caracas. I've seen video footage now. I'm going to share some of it with you here. There are military helicopters flying overhead, many of them, explosions going off below, multiple targets around the city, and this is an illegal action by the President of the United States. He did not have authorization from Congress to start a war. No word yet from the President, the Department of War, or anyone within the government. So this is all still speculation at this point, but I'm sure it's all going to come out here very quickly. I mean, who else would be launching these strikes? It was our military that was surrounding Venezuela and has been making threats. So we'll see what the official word is here soon, but here's the footage.
¡Qué locura! Moscaí. Mira esa mierda, explotaron allá toda esa mierda, porque aquí no está explotando. Mierda, marico, se prendió el peo en esta mierda, ¿oyó? Huevo.
We are getting reports now out of Venezuela of what was struck in these strikes, and this is according to the BBC, and it's looking like La Carlota, a military airfield in the center of the city, and the main military base, Fuerte Tiuna, were described by eyewitnesses as having been affected and struck in these strikes. There are surrounding communities without power currently in Caracas. So guys, this is a developing story here. Just keep checking back, as there's going to be more updates continuously, as it really appears that war has started between the United States and Venezuela. Keep checking back for updates. Like, share, spread the word, let everyone know. Follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
We have some major news. It is 3 a.m. on the East Coast right now, and Donald Trump just bombed Venezuela. It seems like the United States is at war with Venezuela. There were missile explosions reported very early this morning in Caracas, the capital city of Venezuela. It wasn't clear if it was the United States. It has now been confirmed that Donald Trump had ordered these strikes on military facilities, including other locations as well. There's still a lot of footage coming in. Here's a photo of helicopters in the air in Venezuela. These are American helicopters. This is a screenshot from a video of a helicopter launching missiles into a location in Venezuela. Here is a port that looks like it was attacked by the United States. Gustavo Petro, the president of Colombia, just posted the official statement from Venezuela saying that they reject, repudiate, and denounce before the international community the extremely serious military aggression perpetrated by the current government of the United States of America against them. They say this act is a flagrant violation of the UN Charter and that it threatens international peace and stability. So this is really serious stuff. It is an act of war. Donald Trump, the guy who said no more war, we're not doing it, now just got the United States into another war. I will keep you updated, but this is really not good.
The American invasion of Venezuela is underway right now. Around 2:30 a.m., multiple missiles struck the capital of Venezuela, including fighter jets roaring over the skies. At least 10 explosions hit the capital city. And in the background of this video is noise of gunfire, confirming the report of special forces on the ground, turning this into a legitimate ground invasion of the capital. These are also transport helicopters moving U.S. soldiers around the country right now. This was seen around 30 minutes ago, 2:45 a.m. And this is a U.S. helicopter hitting an Air Force base. Venezuela has deployed multiple armored fighting vehicles around the presidential palace. And right here we see a U.S. military helicopter firing a missile at a ground target, which is verifying a resistance. Fox News is reporting that military and civilian targets have been hit. Maduro survived the initial attack and has ordered a full mobilization of the Venezuelan people. Comment your thoughts. Follow me for all breaking news.
So more information is coming out on the capture of Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, which the United States of America has entered into his country and captured the president of Venezuela inside his country. It is now turning out that the Venezuelan president had come out and said that if the United States of America is interested in the oil, then they can invest together. And if they want the drug trafficking to come to an end, then they are ready to work together, only for the United States of America to send its Delta Force right inside Venezuela and captured the president of Venezuela. As we're speaking right now, he is in an undisclosed location. Nobody knows where he is, but the United States of America has come out and said that he is now in their custody. They are going to prosecute him and he's going to be jailed. But of course, the president had come out and said that the people of Venezuela are going to see that the United States of America was not interested in him, but in the minerals and the oil that is in Venezuela. The question is, what do you think?
So it is January 3rd and it's 2 in the morning. I'm in Florida right now, and I got a call from a bunch of family members in Caracas, Venezuela. It looks like the United States already started to attack Venezuela.
Mamá huevo, qué locura. Moscaí. Mira esa mierda, explotaron allá toda esa mierda porque tú no estás explotando.
Mierda, marico, se prendió el pe...
Yo sí lo escuché, yo... ¡Vamos!
Si es una bomba, las bombas caen donde sea.
So I've been looking at American media. There's nothing on the news yet. A lot of these images are coming from Twitter and things that people sent me. But it looks like the so-called president of peace, Mr. Donald Trump, just attacked a sovereign nation at the expense of American taxpayers. Let's see what happens in the next few hours. Salud.
Multiple explosions across the Venezuelan capital Caracas in the early hours of Saturday morning. Power has been knocked out in several parts of the city, according to the CNN team on the ground. It started about 1:50 a.m. and after the explosions, aircraft were heard overhead. The US President Donald Trump has been warning that the US would take new action against drug trafficking networks within Venezuela, and that the first strikes on land would start soon. In President Trump's words, back in October, he gave authority to the CIA to clamp down on illegal flows of migrants, illegal flows of drugs in the South American nation. But this is the capital we're talking about. We're going to have to wait to see what the impact was on the ground. And we're going to have to wait to hear what the White House says. So far, no comment from the White House about any sort of operation on the Venezuelan capital.
Thank you, viewers, for sticking to this very end. And now that you've seen the clips, let me slow down this for you for a moment. Because when you strip away the media, headlines, and the patriotic language, what's actually happening in Venezuela follows a very familiar American pattern, especially under Donald J. Trump. This is not about one strike, it's not about one country, it's about how power is used and who is allowed to use it without any consequences. And more often than not, Trump has labeled himself as the president of peace. Let's debunk that myth. You know, Trump built a huge part of his image on one claim, that he was the president of peace, that he would end wars and wouldn't start any. But peace doesn't look like bombing another country in January, no. Peace doesn't look like sanctions that are aimed at starving civilians. And peace definitely doesn't look like bypassing Congress and international laws, brothers and sisters. What Trump actually is doing isn't ending wars, it's rebranding them. Because you saw earlier in Iraq, it was about freedom. Now in Venezuela, it's now about drugs. These are the same playbook, but different headlines. The drug war is just a cover story. They want you to believe that it's about drugs, about gangs, about security. But the United States has been fighting war on drugs for decades now. And somehow, it's shocking that drugs are still everywhere. It's funny how drugs never disappear, but the bombs, they show up. We have to ask the obvious questions. Why Venezuela? Of course, it's because of the oil, or about power, and about hypocrisy. You know, Venezuela holds the largest proven oil reserves on earth. I mean, not some oil, not potential oil, the largest. Let that sit. And historically, when a country holds such oil deposits and doesn't obey US interests, suddenly it becomes a threat. Suddenly its leader is a dictator. Suddenly intervention becomes necessary. This isn't new, it's greed dressed up as morality. Corruption wrapped in the language of peace. Under international law, others are allowed to obey, but others are not. Here is where the hypocrisy becomes impossible to ignore. Earlier, when Russia invaded Ukraine, it was called a violation of international laws. But when US bombs Venezuela, it's called policy, brothers and sisters. It is indeed shocking that these actions are the same. The civilians are at risk in both cases, but now that is a different flag, the story changes. International law only seems to matter when it's someone else breaking it. And that's not leadership, that's an empire. So let's connect this to Trump's record. And if this feels familiar, it should, because Venezuela fits perfectly into Trump's record. You've seen children in cages at the border, Muslim bans targeting entire populations, militarized responses to protests at home, cheering up international agreements. These patterns, brothers and sisters, are the same. Even as I come to the close of this isn't about the left versus the right. It's not about supporting one government over another. It's about recognizing a dangerous truth. When one country appoints itself as the judge, the jury, and the execution of the world, peace becomes just another lie. And Venezuela is just the latest piece paying that price. And under Trump, that peace keeps being paid in blood. So brothers and sisters, thank you for sticking to this very end. I'd like to know your comments or what you feel about this topic in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly do so. I'll see you guys in the next feature.